Mother's Day reminds us that every time a child is born, so is a mom. Yet for women around the world, that moment can be a life-threatening process. Former model Christy Turlington Burns wants to change that. Her organization, Every Mother Counts, is dedicated to making pregnancy and childbirth safe. Christy joins us at the table once again. Christy, it's always good to see you.
Thank you.
You know, it is so ironic and heartbreaking that so many women die giving life. But the thing that's so upsetting to me is that in many cases, it's preventable. They don't have to die. And that's what your organization wants people to know.
Almost every case is preventable, 90%. And in the U.S., where we have 2 to 3 deaths per day, 50% of those deaths are preventable as well.
How so? How are they preventable?
Well,
how are they dying?
Well, the causes of death are the same worldwide. Postpartum hemorrhage is the leading cause of death, and that's the experience that I had after delivering my daughter 10 years ago. But here in the U.S., where we have access for the most part, I mean, there are hospitals, there are a number of providers, and yet certain women fall through the cracks, or because of things like chronic conditions such as diabetes or obesity, women are more likely to need surgical intervention, and that is now leading and contributing to the rising number of C-section and maternal deaths in the U.S.
It is incredible to think that every 2 minutes that a mother loses her life in this process. What is your organization doing, and where are you working?
Well, our goal really is to link women and mothers with critical care along the spectrum of pregnancy and childbirth. Most deaths are postpartum, so we have such a focus on delivery even in a number of countries, and that's where we're making a decrease in maternal deaths, and yet it's when they go home from a facility that they're actually dying, and we're not counting them. So linking them to critical care, we're focused on education, on transportation, and on supplies.
Yeah, and what's the biggest barrier to link them?
Well, oftentimes it's human rights, it's equity. A woman doesn't have the choice oftentimes in her home to seek care. It's somebody else making that decision. But transportation, I mean, so many women are living in rural areas, including in this country, and if you live 2 hours away from a hospital or emergency obstetric care, a woman can bleed to death in less than 2 hours. So that's something that we're really focused on.
And Christy, as we celebrate Mother's Day on this Sunday and celebrate our mothers, you've made kind of an interesting pitch about what we should do, because we buy a lot of cards and a lot of flowers and a lot of candies about a different way to think about Mother's Day. What is that?
Well, I think, you know, it's wonderful that on this one day we spend $21 billion on women and mothers. However, throughout the year, I mean, I believe Mother's Day should be every day.
Yeah.
And if we care about mothers on the 11th of May, there's 800 women dying on the 11th of May, on the 12th of May, on the 13th of May. It continues. So we need to extend that respect and love of women and mothers throughout the year.
Well said.
Well said, and let's hope somebody's listening to you today. I'm so fascinated by you, Christy, because I saw you at the Time 100 dinner too. You had on a pin. You've clearly been one of the most influential. You're a Christy Turlington Burns supermodel, married to Ed Burns filmmaker. You have 2 children. This isn't something that you need to do, but you clearly feel such passion for it because what happened to you where you almost died during childbirth, but it's so much more than that, it seems.
You know, I think most of us have an instinct to want to do something. We just don't know always where to start or what it is to do. And I've had the good fortune and I guess misfortune to have a series of events that have inspired me to do something very specific and very driven and directed. I knew my life would change becoming a mom, but I had no idea that that complication would connect me to so many other women and girls around the world.
Well, Christy Turlington Burns, happy Mother's Day, and to all mothers, thank you for what you're doing.